And we are recording. All right, hello and welcome. It is, of course, the ultimate best of 7 match to see who is the strongest monster between Xaxziminrax and Kaelus. It is a best of 7, and I have Maynarde joining me to cast it.
Hell yeah, dude. What's up? I know Xaxziminrax well. He's been a sub of my stream for a while. Kaelus, same deal. I've seen a few matches between these guys already. Not this series, but I've seen a series, or rather, probably a series worth of replays between these two dudes, as they're clearly good mates and rivals. So
yeah,
it's
always
gone in
good,
either
mate.
direction. I've had I do subscriber replays on my stream, as you know, and I've had weeks where Zax in a replay of him defeating Kaelus, and then Kaelus will submit one of him defeating Xaxziminrax, going, getting back at him. It's good.
Dude,
it's good.
That's what makes the game so good, is just having a mate to talk shit to want to beat, to get competitive with each other, and help each other through your hurdles, and also rub each other's face in the dirt, because it doesn't, nothing feels that good without a bit of pain. That's what good friends are for in StarCraft.
I have never been more driven to get better at things than when people give me shit that I'm not good at it. That's for true. It definitely motivates me, but it doesn't work for everyone. But anyway.
Where's your flame belch, Maynard? Where are you? Why'd you miss your flame belch?
Not my flame belches. Don't you touch my flame belches. How dare you? I can't believe you would go there. Dug into my ribs like a minute into this recording. So let's introduce our players, I guess, huh?
Hells yeah. All right. Well, down here in the bottom left-hand side, I will start with our Zerg from Clan XD Face. This is Xaxziminrax.
It is indeed. And in the top right here, the opponent in the orange. This is Kaelus playing the Protoss pieces. And one gate expansion from Kaelus. Stock standard stuff so far. He had a probe hidden in the main base of Xaxziminrax there for a second, and then decided it probably has got better chances of survival outside of the Zerg main, so moves it over to the third location.
It was a good job from Zax as well, hiding that drone behind the natural to avoid the early block on the hatchery. I think a lot of Zergs just get so triggered by that hatchery getting blocked, and hiding a drone down there, Kaelus going, oh, he's not trying to take it, and obviously the hatch getting down right on time. So it's a smooth opening for the Zerg, and sending a probe across such a big map so early, it's not cheap, costs you a fair bit of minerals, so very slight opening advantage from Zax, not letting the Protoss get under his skin just yet.
Yeah, no, it's all very much like, I know these guys have dug at each other. They've done it in my Discord, they've done it in my Twitch chat, they've done it through the magic of replays being sent to me earlier. But this is a gentleman's agreement here. This is just a regular standard PvZ opener from both sides. Xaxziminrax is prioritizing and getting a third base here, getting rid of that probe with the Lings. There we go. For about a 2.5 minute third base, which is usually what you want. It's maybe a few seconds later, but we do have a Stargate opener for Kaelus as well. So it's like a very normal opening for both sides.
Yeah, honorable macro openings so far. Some meta nerds, Maynard. What the hell, dude? I know, right? Game 1, feeling each other out. I guess it's the biggest map in the pool, but I'm hoping we see some Worm. Hoping we see some Glaive Adepts and that sort of stuff later on.
Now, the Overlord of Xaxziminrax just flew real deep. Like up to the shoulder length inside the main base of Kaelus, and he is seeing a Void Ray. You can see the outline of the unit being made in the Stargate with that warp in. So he knows it's a Void Ray if he's paying attention. And I mean, what I'm hoping for here from Kaelus, and it's something I think I've seen him do before, is multiple Stargate Void Rays. I want a second Void Ray here. If he makes anything else, I'm going to be upset.
Well, as you said, it went elbow deep, that Overlord, much like an Ibis, beak deep in the garbage bin of the Protoss base, and it does get punished.
Yeah.
Does go down. Phoenix afterwards, so it might even be... Oh, no, cancels the Phoenix. Your wish has been granted.
Excellent. Well, I got 3 more wishes, as the gen rules state, so I'll keep them in my back pocket for this best of 7. One's been burned already. But Xaxziminrax, I know him relatively well and how he likes to play ZVP, and he loves lurkers. So usually any excuse for him to get up there, usually that's, you kind of have to go Ling Bane Hydra for a bit. There is, of course, a way to go like Ravager Ling Bane into lurkers and that sort of thing. Obviously, these players aren't, they're not top, 0.1%. They are definitely the people's StarCraft. This is the Diamond League, which is, I think, the most popular league on the ladder. And so things can be a little bit creative. Let's say, like you can get to different avenues without taking the beaten path. You can go through the brush and just end up where you want to be. That's one of the wonderful things about being, not like one of those really tight, high-level grandmaster top 0.2% games.
Oh, Diamond is a vast league, Maynard. It is a lot like, you get the range, the full range from what's a build order, or what does that laser giraffe do, what's it good against, right through to emulating a pro build order pretty damn tight. If you look at the bottom of Diamond or the top of it, it's kind of insane, the difference within that league. It's a vast difference of skills. And well, that triple Stargate build now coming down here for Kaelus. Now, I actually really like that Zach's got lots of queens up, lots of spores for anti-air, but I think Zax is actually kind of behind in this game because he's made a lot of queens, but I think he hasn't droned quite as quickly as he could have. And without putting any aggression on, I worry that Kaelus here, I mean, he's got that +1 air upgrade on the way. He's ticking off all the boxes that you need for a good Stargate play. 3 Stargates up. I'm not sure Zax is going to be able to do too much to him, and I think maybe Zax invested in a little too much anti-air early on. We'll have to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, I mean, this is, at the moment, maybe like a little bit of miss macro there from Zach. Saw a bit of money in the bank when I was looking at it. He's taken his extra gases at the 3rd, but hasn't done anything with them just yet, so not really sure where he wants to put all of his resources. Maybe just trying to, juggle too many swords while riding a unicycle that's on fire, which is what StarCraft 2 really is. And that's part of the reason why I keep coming back to it, because there's no more fun way to ride a unicycle than when you're juggling swords that are on fire. We do see that triple Stargate Void Ray from Kaelus, by the way. It is exactly what I want. And you were talking about how, like, Diamond League is like anything from like, what does this laser giraffe do, to emulating pro builds. I feel like Kaelus is actually emulating a pro build right now. Like, it's obviously not 100%, but I have definitely, and you and I have cast them, like seen some extremely high level pro gamers throw up those 3 Stargate Fleet Bacon mass void builds. Ooh, an unfortunate attack there from Xaxziminrax. Doomed from the get-go, I think, as you fly through those void rays.
Yeah, a little
Amazed
bit of
that those 2 roaches got through, though. tourism
of pain here, This is they had to go to the Protoss side of the map to have their sick desires met. Apparently, those roaches enjoying a bit of that pain. So they're going to go over there. There's actually a good drone count building up now. So Zax is getting to that powerful point where, I think Zerg players sometimes struggle to get their work count up early, but once they hit this point, this is where I go, okay, I was a little worried for Zax's economy earlier. Now he's at 70 workers. He's got that 4th base halfway done, adding lots of attack upgrades. He's getting into Hydra tech, and most importantly, has already queued both Hydra upgrades and is actually swapping off the roaches and just saying, Hydra Bane, let's go. And that is a fantastic composition. It really scales well. Whereas you can see that Kaelus is not really scaling to the next stage of the game. It's just Void Rays, a few Adepts being warped in here or there, but I was expecting more of a charge Archon transition with this, but Kaelus is kind of at the moment straddling 2 worlds. He's Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's on those 2 reversing trucks, trying to, and he hasn't made up which mind is he going to end up on. So some zealots are warping in now. I don't think he's made charge, but it looks like an almost pure zealot Archon Void Ray mix, which is a very mobile composition. But when Hydra Bane hits high numbers, I think the Hydra Bane wins out.
I'm with you on that one. Like, it's very easy to mass a lot of Hydralisks when you have a lot of lava, especially when you got like 4 or 5 hatcheries being injected. And, we see Xaxziminrax is about to shoot past 80 drones here, so he's going to have plenty of income to be able to afford all those Hydras. And I was going to say some kind of cheating a little bit because I see it happening right now. I think Kaelus is going to go right into Storm for High Templar here because he knows Xaxziminrax very well, and he knows that Xaxziminrax likes to get into lurkers. Also, that Hydras are a very likely counter to the Void Rays. Zergs don't really go Spire to handle this. They go Hydralisk because the Void Ray can, make Corruptors look terrible. And also Mutalisks are like, well, you just start making a round of Phoenixes and it doesn't take too many rounds of Phoenixes for the Mutalisks to be counted. A little bit of a run by their attempt at the 3rd of Kaelus, which got deflected by the charge lots. And Xaxziminrax would have seen these High Templar, though. So he is seeing that Tier 3 is underway there at the Templar tech.
And Kaelus is getting up towards carriers. 1 carrier. I'm surprised he's not doubling down on that because I do think, you get enough Storm and a whole bunch of carriers up. And wow, that power spike is good versus Hydra Bane. Does queue up another Colossus or 2 now. And he's slowly adding Colossi. And the Void Rays have done a good job. They've been denying bases on the left. They're keeping Zax kind of chasing him around. Zax is only on 4 bases. He doesn't have a 5th. He doesn't have a big gas or mineral bank. So I think as this goes on, it feels like you're going to have a favored Protoss player in the end game. The thing is, he is dilly-dallying a little bit in getting there. Where, oh, and look at this Baneling run by on the left, Maynard.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No Baneling speed just yet. But there's nothing really to stop them. And Kaelus isn't looking at the minimap. Oh, the interceptors, the little ships that could. But unfortunately for Kaelus, loses 15 probes at that third base. That is not a good... that's super worth for Xaxziminrax. Not a great defense there from Kaelus. You know, all that static defense that you would want to see at this point, like maybe a SimCity of shield batteries, a couple cannons, that sort of thing, would really be lovely here. But Kaelus is very much like hand to mouth with his money. He's living paycheck to paycheck. He hasn't got a lot of bank because he's been macroing relatively well. So he hasn't got a lot of bank to be able to afford to spam static defense as well as keep up carrier production.
And interestingly, his charge is not quite done yet. Still, he did remember it, but it's 30 seconds away. Oh no, Void's in the open. Oh no.
Oh no. The Void Rays, exactly where they don't want to be, which is under a ball of Hydralisks, which are about to have +2 attack as well as that upgrade kicks in. Xaxziminrax can really rip and tear through all of these interceptors. And there's no High Templar Storm, although they're coming in for the right side. There's the Storm from Kaelus.
He's trying to counterattack on the right. The cannon, the battery, and a Zealot Warpin will defend the right-hand side quite well. And, well, you know what? You lose a fourth, but only 5 workers. And your carriers have survived. Yes, you lost some Voids, you lost some probes, but I think a sigh of relief, honestly, for Kaelus, because still has the important units alive. A ton of Storm. The carrier count is about to go from 3 to 6. And you know what? As long as he can weather another wave or two, his tech's looking a little better for the late game. That being said, Xax is not sleeping. More Banelings on the way. The Hydra's going in on the left. Is going double Spire and Hive behind this as well now. And is coming back in from both sides.
This is really hurting Kaelus's production here and his income as he loses that base. A bit of a whiff storm as well, actually hits more Protoss units than Zerg units. But, you know, getting knocked down to 3 bases while the Zerg's enjoying 5 on the other side is rough. And in come these Banelings to make things even worse for Kaelus, losing another 22 probes over at the 4th Nexus. And now he's a 55 probe economy, which, you know, for 3 bases is all right saturation. If he grabs those long distance mining probes, sends them to the 3rd, he'll have about as good mining as he could possibly hope for. But it's still quite rough. Getting maxed out is going to be tough here. Meanwhile, Xaxziminrax is amassing resources being maxed per minute.
Trying to slip into Stalkers and Blink right now, which is an odd decision here for Kaelus.
Yeah.
I think Kaelus has just got to double down on the defense here. Maybe feels a bit desperate. Might go across for an all-in, but I like this move from Xax. He's like, oh, sorry, you want to attack? No way, buddy. I'm already over here. If you want a base trade, I'm getting a big head start on this base trade. And I think Kaelus has had enough. He's like, screw this, dude. I know he's going to be swapping into Mass Corruptor. I don't think I can keep up. We've got to go for the base trade. And he's trying to warp in a few Stalkers at home. He's going to recall, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's
Well,
only
he recalls a few units, but yeah, just partially. A lot of the High Templar didn't make the cut pick. They didn't make it back through the recall, and that's exactly what he needs to actually deal with these Hydras. The Hydra's going to be right underneath the carrier here as it pops out of a Stargate. I mean, that's not what you want for your resources, so that thing disappears. These Interceptors really having a tough time without those High Templar to help him out.
Yeah, 2-1 Hydra's doing really well, and these carriers are out of interceptors. The Hydras move underneath Xax. Oh, Killer Instincts gets a 3rd carrier kill with just Hydras. He is taking a lot of damage to Zealots on the other side. He's lost his 5th base, and the Storms are finally going to seal the deal. This is what Kaelus has been waiting for this entire time, those big Storms to finish off that army.
Yeah, that recall was maybe a bit of like a desperation maneuver there. Killed his own Zealot, but he got rid of the Hydras, which is the most important thing. You know, he recalled, but he also brought the army home. So the army that was out there, he couldn't really make anything happen with. He was like, oh, what do I do? Do I send the High Templar into the attack? Do I spring them back home? They're so slow, the High Templar. I mean, it'd be nice if High Templar could have charge. I'm sure Protoss would love that. But speaking of these charge lots, they are doing some work over here at these hatcheries. Xaxziminrax's army definitely been hit really hard here, and he's flooding a few resources. I think he's been missing injects at home, Pig. Not enough lava to remax.
He's been taking the top left. He thought a full base trade was going to happen, and Kaelus going home to deal with it is really throwing through a loop. Banelings go in again. Kaelus with a quick response. Can he get out of there? I think he can. Nice pull. Only loses 6 probes. So Kaelus still has mining up a little in his main, a bit on his 3rd base, and even a little bit is powerful. Banelings take out every single High Templar and Zealot. Oh my god, it's only carriers left in the skies.
But no Hydras anymore, Pig. 15 more on the way, or 14 more on the way. We've got a 15th down here on the front. That Hydra needs so many more Hydralisks to come in here to actually fight these Interceptors. The
he's got to
Interceptors
pull out.
are all that's standing here between him and success.
Oh no, his Hydras are going in piecemeal. He's got to pull back and rally, and he should have been building Corruptors, not Hydras here, to deal with this. I think Xax has forgotten that he built the double spire. He's trying to go with the Hydras because they have the upgrades. He gets one carrier, but Hydras cannot engage carriers. Look at that Interceptor slaughter.
Damn.
One carrier for 20 Hydras. Oh, Kaelus will take that trade any day.
And I think Kaelus is starting to get pretty scary in this game, man. It's not looking very good for Xaxziminrax. There's all of his tech, including the Spires. 4 Corruptors are on the way, but 2 of those Corruptors are coming out of the main hatchery, as I can see here. The other 2 must be coming out of the hatchery at the front there, which has not been injected for quite a while, by the way. That Queen's got a lot of energy. So there's definitely been some macro mistakes from Xaxziminrax, and Kaelus is making him pay for it.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where I love how Xax realized it was a base trade, tried to get a head stun, pulled drones, was putting down hatcheries, and then I think he kind of looked back and went, wait, what? You've pulled home? Oh no, it's Hydras all dive to Storm on the other side of the map. And he lost 2 bases to the Zealots, where I think his rally actually could have cleaned up the Zealots and defended his third base, or fourth, whichever way you want to look at it. So Xax there, he found himself, I think, he was so well prepared for the chaotic situation, and it was Kaelus pulling back and recalling, kind of slowly coming home and cleaning up. And I think it's engineered a victory for him, because in that chaos, I think Xax, if he built Corruptors instead of Hydras, could have killed most of these carriers. Could have barely won, but going for Hydras when the carriers are on your rallies, oh, that's so unfortunate.
Also, he can only afford 6 Hydras, and 3 of those 6 Hydras are about to pop right underneath 5 carriers. So it's more like 3 Hydras that we're going to see here, Pig, as these 3 pop. Interceptors delete one of them, nearly get the other. It was very lucky that 2 escaped there. But, you know, the Hive's been killed, Spawning Pool's dead. There is no tech apart from a Hydra Den in the top left here for Xaxziminrax. And I don't see how, like, I've seen some comebacks in my time, Pig, but Xaxziminrax coming back from now, I'll give him everything I earn on Twitch for this month if he wins this game.
3 of the carriers, or 2 of them, had 31 kills. I just clicked on, okay, 3 carriers. Okay, one of them I accidentally clicked on twice. I just thought I'd hit some weird glitch in the Matrix, and 3 of the 5 carriers had 31 kills each, and I was like, what the hell? I was clicking across them. I was like, how do they all have identical kills? They don't. I was imagining it. It was only 2 out of the 5. It's not that big of a coincidence, but yeah, the carrier's having a party, and a nice power switch from Kaelus. Worked on those upgrades from the start. And you know what? I really do feel Kaelus maybe had some weak points in his army building up. But once you get to that situation where you're like, I got 12 gateways and 3 Stargate carrier, it's so hard to counter as the Zerg. You're like, do I wipe the ground army and overinvest in that and then remax in the Corruptors? Or do I overmax in the Corruptors and then go for it? So hard to pick your battles and exactly which one you want to go for. And yeah, Kaelus gets in with the carriers, man.
GG. I was going to say those Archons that Kaelus sent in kind of win the game by themselves. You don't need the carriers anymore. And Kaelus, I mean, Xaxziminrax really didn't have an answer for that part of Kaelus's army. So GG, well played. Looks like a nice little back and forth there. Xaxziminrax definitely was in charge in that game, and then Kaelus brought it back. Yeah,
good job occupying time from Kaelus, I think. Definitely a bit of back and forth throughout, and both players, I think, quite respectful. But that was the long map. That was the big map. Let's get into map number 2 here, which I'm sure is going to be a very interesting change of pace. Down here in the bottom left-hand side, the orange Protoss player, an absolute monster. It is Kaelus.
And in the top right here, currently down the series, but looking to tie it up here in Pillars of Gold, this is XD Faces Xaxziminrax.
That clan, honestly, I'm really happy to see more of the community getting behind the graphic artists in the StarCraft scene and designing some of these just, you know, very creative and really high production value clan logos.
I think Xaxziminrax probably paid a graphic designer hundreds of dollars, if not thousands, for the clan logo.
And exposure as well. Even the cherry on top, no doubt.
Oh, exposure. My favorite currency. You know, I went to Coles the other day for people that are, you know, maybe not Australian. I'm not sure where Xaxziminrax and Kaelus are from, but Coles is a big supermarket brand here in Australia. And I went there and had a massive shop. You know, I'm all set for Christmas. I'm all set for the next couple of weeks. And luckily, I had enough exposure to pay for it all. So I went, took my exposure card and then charged, you know. It's good.
Yeah, I'm really happy, you know, that the world has got more fluid currency. Some people are excited about crypto. We're excited about both exposure and esports dollars.
Yeah, you know, and empty promises. It's another currency that I get.
broken promises, broken dreams.
Promises. Yeah.
What can I say? Shared hotel rooms, four to a room. with a drunk gamer next to you at an event, or Todd shouting at you for breathing too loudly. Who knows?
Yeah, you know, it's like, is this a gaming event or is it a hostel in Manila? I don't know.
Sometimes it's a surprisingly similar circumstance, I think.
Yeah, it smells about the same too.
Probably still is for the production crews for some of these events, to be honest. Yeah. Thankfully we get our own room these days, Maynard. It's a nice step up in the world to still feel fancy, you know, not having to fly the absolute cheapest airline in the world every time and being stacked into those rows. But you know what?
Shout out to China Eastern Airways, by the way.
Dude, China Eastern's the good one. China Southern. Oh man,
China Southern. Yeah,
China Southern makes China Eastern look like it's like Emirates or something.
Yeah, China Eastern looks like Emirates first class. But only Kaelus will be able to tell us what that class looks like. I don't think I'll ever be able to experience it. And I don't think I'll ever have that kind of money. But we do have a Twilight Council opening here from Kaelus, going for something a little bit different. He did not get the hatchery block, but I happen to know for a fact that Xaxziminrax has complained very publicly in my Twitch chat about Kaelus giving him the Adept printer at one point, keeping an eye on that and seeing if this is one of those games where Kaelus gives him the printer. I'm looking for that Adept ink ribbon, which is the resin glaze and the Robo. And so far, so good. I mean, I haven't seen the Robo just yet, which is, you know, this build isn't as crisp. We're seeing a cancel gateway there.
That probe managed to trap itself in the corner. That is like, that's truly when, you know, you're given the work order to a real bright puppy. You're just like, all right, go build that wall. He literally lays a brick wall, trapping himself in between the walls. And you're like, Jesus Christ. Are you serious? Like, how? How do you earn your paycheck?
Oh, speaking of paychecks, this Adept's going to get a cut.
Oh,
Three Lings get in. Luckily, they're not getting into the main base and like looking for the Twilight Council or something like that. But the Overlord's going to see it anyway. So the Lings just go for probe damage. It's actually going to be a Dark Shrine here. So Kaelus is going to go for the old Archon drop. Or actually, this might just be the Invisible Men. We haven't seen a Robo yet.
Yeah, no proxy pylon or anything, but could just be warp in a few, send them across the map. It's like a very quick DT shrine. I think the Robo just forgot, to be honest, with the gateway getting, because that was like a sequence where it was like right when the Robo should be going down, it was like, I trapped my probe with the gateway. Lings are running in. So it's like he just got distracted. Remember the DT shrine, but the Prism's going to be very late. So that gives Xax a lot of time to prepare. Wait, Xax scouted and has already dropped spores. Oh, he's a bit paranoid, isn't he? I think Xax has been really traumatized by Kaelus build orders. These spores are so early. This is like to stop. If you're playing Neeb's absolute best executed DT timing that comes off 2 gates, you need spores this fast. As it is, those are super duper early. But lots of drones, gases, roach horn, like all the right pieces are going down for Xax. So I definitely think he should be well prepared.
I think Xax only scouted the Twilight Council. He didn't see the Dark Shrine, so I think he thinks this is a Adept printer. The spores are here to try and potentially stop the Prism or something like that. But he's gone for the Roach Warren at like when you would normally do to deflect the like big gateway army, because he's making so many units right now. Roach Warren as well, cutting drones at 38 here. He's making another round, which is interesting because now he's spending all of his lava on Lings after making a Roach Warren. Now he doesn't have that much lava left over for Roaches.
Well, this is one of those games where you scout it and you're like, wow, it might be a proxy DT shrine. I don't even know. This could hit really fast. And Xax has given it so much respect. And the fact that Kaelus messed up and forgot his Robo and is hitting a full minute late is actually going to be really, like, not bad. Because Xax played so safe and so respectful, Kaelus kind of gets away with it. This is the sort of game where you're going across as Kaelus and you're going, please don't have just built 55 workers before fighting units and detection. Because if you did, you're getting away with it. Like, I'm hitting so late. Like, you're going to be fine. But Xax is like, what the hell is happening? Like right now, he's going to be going, what the hell? Where is it? Is it depths? Is it DTs? Like, where is it coming from and when? And it comes into his main. His army's way out of position. That Spore Crawler is a bit exposed, as is the drone line.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Xax. He's going to certainly lose some drones here. Does Kaelus have a quick trigger on picking up those DTs and saving them before they go down? Obviously, the Spore is offering detection here. Prism taking a fair bit of a beating from that Spore Crawler. DT is getting quite a bit of value there, so they get some Lings and also 6 drones, and now they can become Archons. So a really good start here for Kaelus. Xaxziminrax just out of position there. Would be great if Kaelus could spend a bit more of his cash. He's delaying his third base by a lot here by just making a ton of gateways. Looks like he might be going for... Yeah, wow. Ooh. 10 gateways of Blink production. I imagine Stalker production coming out next year for Kaelus.
Yeah, he's taking a fake third base right now, I think. But he's warped in a Stalker in range of the Overlord, though. The Overlord sees this for Xax, and If Xax just makes plenty of roaches, yeah, it does really look like a blink all in. Like, that's got to be a fake third. He's warping in Stalkers in Overlord vision. Xax sees everything. Oh, Xax, don't go in there. Got to get out of there. Okay, Xax does realize what's happening. That's the important part, and I think Xax should be good. He's making a lot of Zerglings. The weak spot there is, of course, the Archons are Zergling annihilators. But if the Roaches can clear the Archons, the Zerglings will smash the Stalkers.
Yes, exactly. And he is getting, roach speed on the way, +1 attack, which is going to help him out in the long run. But of course, Kaelus is hitting now. He's here now. Oh, is he going to warp into the main base while trying to hit him down here? Or okay, yeah, all right. Warping in 4 slow zealots for the main. Archon going to go down the front there.
Loses an Archon, yeah. Even though that's going to do some damage there. Oh, he's trying to elevate, but the Archon couldn't get in the prism. Okay, now it can. Is he going to blink up to the high ground? I think he might. The zealots do force an evac from the main. Xax's roaches get a little disjointed. They roach speed and +1 not quite ready. Stalkers do pretty well versus roaches off creep. And those roaches going to have to fall back. The zealots still denying mining, doing damage to roaches as they pop out in the main base. A big amount of panic here for Xax, who's realizing he's desperately got to hang on. Kaelus here just pushing forward. The Stalkers blink on top of those roaches. Ooh.
Yeah, I think that was his first blink there, and he went right into the roaches. Now, a couple of these Stalkers are a little bit damaged, of course. The Stalkers in the back aren't actually part of this fight until just now they blink into the battle. Concave for the Zerg, of course, but a lot of Stalkers. Stalkers kind of counter and also countered by the roaches in a weird way. More and more coming in from Kaelus, fresh from the gateways. Oh, man, this is buying time, at least for Xaxziminrax to get up the spine crawlers, but his main is a ghost town. Those 4 zealots completely ruined his main.
Yeah, I do think if Xax pulled back and cleaned up that main, might have been in a bit of a better position. He's trying to build more spines on top of the push, but right now it's got to be all about Roaches, Ravagers, and Zerglings. I feel like Xax has really had the numbers to hold on, but Kaelus is almost bullying him. It just feels like he's in this more assertive position. I actually feel Kaelus has had a worse composition this whole time, and he's been so all in, but yeah, those DTs are killing it. And Kaelus... I can't believe it. What a crazy blink Archon all in. Who the hell does that? But he's just bullying his way in. The zealots in the main base, the DTs in the third dude. Kaelus is making it happen.
Brilliant. Yeah, I mean, a great start here to the series for Kaelus. Of course, it is best of 7, so more maps remaining, at least 2 more. Hopefully, it's not just a 4-0. But yeah, that's a strong start for Kaelus, showing us multiple builds as well. He's not like a one-trick pony that just goes 3 Stargate Void Ray in every match, although I would love that if he did. And Xaxziminrax, I mean, a bit of a demotivating start here for the series up against his mate Kaelus.
Yeah, I think Xax has got to find some confidence here in these games, and I think it's one of the hardest things when you're struggling in this matchup. I got to say, as someone who's recently gone through a lot of troubles in it, especially against certain opponents, once they're getting the edge of you, when they start a series like this, they just seem absolutely indomitable. Feels like everything they want to do works. It's hard to read what they're doing. And even when they're making mistakes, you start to kind of overreact to things that aren't even there. And he's definitely in that driver's seat right now. Let's see if Kaelus can take it to a 3-0. It is Kaelus.
That's right. Dominating in the series so far, but in the bottom right, still able to bring it back. And let's see if he can. This is XD faces Xaxziminrax.
Do you have the backstory on that name, by the way? Is that Xaxziminrax?
I don't know the story behind Xaxziminrax, but from memory, I have learned about the cultured and long history of Clan XD Face.
Yeah.
I believe the answer is LOL memes. I did ask once, having cast many of Xaxziminrax's games. I did ask, like, what's the story with this clan? I think the answer was LOL memes. I could be wrong, but that's the memory.
My favorite thing is these are usually the sort of characters, you know, the LOL memes, the XD, they're in chat posting their pog chaps. These are the sort of cats who you're like, oh, this has got to be some, you know, it's probably a bit of a neckbeard, bit of a basement dweller. What's the bet? Kaelus and Xax are like, one of them is like a high-powered fucking copyright attorney who earns $500,000 a year, super serious. The other one's like, I don't know, he's like some political lobbyist or something. And then it's just like, you know, they've got to switch off in that time off. What do? They join the XD clan, they call each other names, and they proxy Stargate each other. They run DTs into each other's main bases. They try to overwhelm each other with Hydras and Banes. That's what I like to imagine. I like to imagine there's a 50% chance 14-year-old neckbeard, 50% chance high-powered multi-millionaire lawyer.
Yeah. Also, potentially like a very high-powered executive, like a politician or something like that as well. Like the way that Kaelus played that last game, there are a lot of premiers that have previously been like in charge of states in Australia that would play like that if they played StarCraft.
Oh yes, nothing like the warping up blink stalkers right next to your opponent's base and just going full on YOLO, throwing down a third
Archons in it
nexus.
because fuck it, they're like, oh, the budget's there.
Archon stalkers, man, you got the most short ranged and long range unit together. Good combo.
Yeah. Right.
Ooh, no cancel on that pylon. Oh, that was a not great block from Kaelus. I really feel like Xax's openings have actually been going really well. I think Xax has been killing it. Only criticism I've had so far is like the spores going a little early. So he's got a good scout in the previous games. This time, I think he's going in a little later with that Overlord. So he's not going to confirm that Stargate. It's tucked away in the back of the main, everything. He always tucks it in so far away. Kaelus is... I wish more players did this, dude. I was watching Patience play the other week, and he kept hiding it like behind his natural when no one ever checks and stuff. And no, the opponents never saw his tech. He'd always had a different weird spot to hide it. And I was like, man, more people should do this. Like, it's just inaccessible in the back, and that Oracle's going to be out. I think the Overlord might barely see it. I'm going to watch on Xax's camera and see if he actually spots that Oracle, because he's only going to glimpse it for a sec.
Oh, the Oracle going to the top right there. So he's not going to see the unit fly up, but he's going to see the Stargate, which will make him make spores. But the Oracle's going to be over at the Zerg side of the map before a spore starts here.
Yeah, that's super early. Does he have a third queen? He does. So there's two queens near the natural. The main base is probably the most vulnerable, and I think Kaelus knows that. It looks like he's going for the main. Oh, he doesn't get spotted at all. He just threads the needle of Zerg vision. He's going to rock up to the main. Could easily be 4 or 5 worker kills here.
Yeah, this is looking rough. Unless he goes to the stasis ward, but surely you go pulsar beam here. Yeah. There we go. Shares the love between several drones. He just wants to hurt them. He doesn't want to kill them. Now he does.
Yeah, mate, let
Target fires the hurt one.
Let them tell their friends so they fear you more in future. 4 drones and a full pull on the mineral line. That's big damage. Does take a lot of damage on the Oracle, but I think you're more than happy with that.
Yeah, and I like that he gave those drones hope before killing them, because it makes their lives even more painful before the end.
Well, the Void Rays popped out and killed the Overlord in the main base as well. Kaelus going for this quick third, which has become such a staple of Stargate PvZ. Ever since the Void Ray came back, the quick third Nexus is just back, isn't it? It's back in full force. I see people dropping them at like 3 minutes 50 sometimes. And I'm like, you can't do that. The Mothership Core doesn't exist anymore. They're like,
I can't believe you've done this.
I've got a Void Ray. It's the new Mothership Core. Don't worry, it's fine. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. It's a Mothership Core that's just a lot better against killing Overlords, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's faster.
Doesn't have 15 sight range, unfortunately, like the OG Mama Core. When you fly it next to the edge of their base and you see everything and walk away, you're like, oh my god, best scouting unit in the game. But you know what? We're playing in a very fun state of balance right now. And as the dust settles on the early game, I think we skipped Roach War in this game. So I actually really like the greed. I was talking about Xax. Be confident, maybe be a little greedy, cut some corners. We're looking at 3 full mineral lines. Bailey Nest is up. It's dropping a Roach Warren now. It's got good creep spread out, good map coverage in terms of the vision around here. The Lings are going to go have a poke around and see the third base. I think this is looking really good for Xax. So as long as Xax can now get a read on what the next step is, should be good. And it looks like mass exact. Is this almost the same build as last game? It looks like mass blink.
It does at the moment, yeah, but off the back of a couple Void Rays rather than the DTs, of course. But Double Forge, which has got me interested by Kaelus. So I don't know if he's going to move out with this or not. It looks like usually Double Forge means you're going to slow the game down a little bit. Oh no, only Xax's Lings, only half of them getting into the fight there, and the Adepts having an easy time with that first wave. And now the Lings, once they wake up, after realizing a bunch of their brother sisters are dead, there's a Sim City for Kaelus, so it's much harder for the Lings to do damage.
Yeah, and 2 Adepts in the wall. It's a bit of a nasty wall.
Oh, what?
Yeah, it's a full diagonal. The full diagonal wall, that's a really bad wall off. Even the best pro gamers will misposition that. You got to be pixel perfect with that wall, but you know what? It's a trap Maynard. He's like, oh, don't get in my worker line. Warps in 2 Adepts in the main. Oracle turns on the laser beam. And we see, I think he damaged an Adept and saw some gateways for like 30 Zerglings. So this is not looking good for Xax, who's now is adding a lot of upgrades, trying to get a 4th base up, but I don't think really has that much of a read on what's going on. I didn't see the Double Forge in the back, or did, but maybe didn't realize because only caught a glimpse of it. And even the Chads come in for a bit of harass.
And they will get an Extractor there. Extractor is an easy target for the Void Rays at the edge of the Zerg's infrastructure, and also slows down their ability to get things like, you know, Hydralisks, upgrades, Ravagers, all the scary things that Protoss don't have to deal with. This Oracle sees Lings and just misses a Baneling Morph on the left side there, but the Oracle sees the Lings. If Kaelus sees it, though, is the big question. He doesn't have any static defense at the third base, and he's supply blocked at the moment. So these Banelings could potentially just roll in here and find a lot of damage. It's a bit of a weird attack from Xaxziminrax. It's a very gamble. It's like, God, I hope he's not looking.
But I don't know, dude. Kaelus doesn't have any units. He keeps making Zealots. I think he thinks he made Charge, but he made Blink. I think Blink was an accident. I think it was meant to be Charge. And Kaelus just doesn't really have any units except these Void Rays. So I think we've sealed this in game 1 as well. Kaelus is super greedy after opening with Void Rays. And so I think this is the perfect sort of attack to come in here with. Isn't that many probes? Oh, it does get 5. Oh, get a few more with that Zergling.
Yeah, the single Zergling's got 3 easy kills there if it just targets them down. There we go. Nibble, nibble.
Oh, that Adept. Get over there, lass.
She's on strike. Man. Kaelus is going to start a city here. I mean, really, this is what you should be doing with your gateway production later on, I feel, or at least getting, like, cannons and shield batteries later, shortly after getting the third, because this is something that's so easy for Zerg to do. Send in those Banelings once Baneling speed is done. Kaelus is behind a little bit in workers after that, but I got to say, he's not too far behind in workers. I think economically he can recover from here. He's got a lot of gas as well, so he can start spamming High Templar out, which is going to be helpful for, you know, just not only Storm, which he's researching, but also just making Archons.
Well, I feel like Xax is a little panicked, a little afraid here because he's not really hitting the drones, but he's also forgotten his Hydra upgrades, and he could win the game. He's got a massive Hydra army, but he doesn't have any upgrades for them. And that worries me, Maynard, because if you don't remember your Hydra upgrades early, well, you often don't remember them for the entire game. I always reference this recent Raynor match where he didn't get his Lurker range straight away, and I was like, it's fine, he'll remember. No, if they don't remember it straight away, they're never going to remember it. He played like a 30-minute TVZ without Lurker range with Mass Lurker. It was like, it's Raynor, the best CVT player in the world right now. So, I don't know, if Xax doesn't remember those upgrades, that makes Hydras from one of the best damage units to one of the most vulnerable, kind of crappy units.
Yeah, I mean, usually you notice your upgrades when you start to move those Hydras across the map, especially when they're off creep, right? You're like, damn, these things are slower than normal. And you're like, okay, click on that Hydra den, start queuing it up. Storm is done, by the way. I think that Kaelus's army, like, even though he's down a bit in supply, I think Kaelus's army is better at the moment. Just like it's got that splash damage to it.
I think, he's got cannons and a full wall on the
it's only 2 High Templar, so maybe not.
If he morphs a few High Templar, and I think he's got a great army, he actually makes some Master Sentries there. To me, that seems super bizarre. Once you got Storm out, that's a... Whoa, Hydra's going to catch the Chads. Oh, nice move there. He's going for Lurkers, is Xax. And you mentioned at the start of this that he loves Lurkers. He hasn't found his way to that comfort zone in this series, but going there now, I think that's going to be a good way to go. They've both got their double upgrades roughly lined up. And, oh man, the gateway count. Dude, Kaelus builds more gateways than almost any other player. And I love it. I love it when a Protoss player can get up a big economy and actually take advantage of it. I'd love to see some Zealot run-bys and stuff from Kaelus. I think if he can like do a bit of multi-prong, he could get Xax just chasing his own tail around this map. Whereas if he lets Xax keep setting up the run-bys, I feel good for Xax. Those Banelings.
Oh, Xax is going to hit in multiple spots here. Banelings on the right side aren't going to do too much. They crash into a few of the gateway units, but on the Nexus over here, though.
Oh, nice
good warp-ins. Good warp-ins. Well done, Kaelus.
Oh, that's a very good block there. Now, Lings do run into the natural and the main at the same time, though. The door was open. Oh, my God. I cannot believe it. They fired that Adept from earlier, and they didn't even replace her. There was literally an unstaffed security job.
Oh, the High Templar.
Oh, my God. Xax! Xax comes in from every single side, says you can't be everywhere at once, mate. And you know what? He's even remembered his Hydra upgrades. His Groove Spines are about to kick in. He's got Augments queued by that takes out the main Nexus. Kaelus has got those 2-2 upgrades, but he's just not in the right position at the right time. He's actually kept a surprisingly high probe count alive during this. So well done to Kaelus. Shout out for that. I do think Xax has got to be careful of the counterattack. He's got to make a ton more Banelings. It's easy in this scenario to go, hey, I'm maxed. I got a great army. But, oh, you know what? Lurker's even better. All right. Yeah, you get Lurkers up. Protoss can't counterattack into that.
I was about to say, one of the reasons why I think Kaelus goes so gateway heavy here is I haven't seen him get a Robo Bay in any of these games. Like you know, right now it's very popular for Protosses to go into like Colossi and that sort of thing in their army comps, just because they've been so strong. But Kaelus is just so reliant on gateway units, and it can absolutely work. And it definitely was what a lot of Protosses did for a long time, you know, Immortals, and then just a lot of High Templar and Archons, Charge Lots, that sort of thing. He's coming into a choke point here against the guy with Lurkers. That ain't it, Chief. Oh, the Observer's getting picked off as well.
Don't go through there, Zax. Don't go through there. They got force fields. Okay, thankfully. I was like, if he goes through there, he's going to get trapped. But he's got more Ling run bys getting ready. And Kaelus, you got to pull back from that choke point. Ling's come in from the left-hand side. Both players kind of headbutting a little at this choke point. But tons more Ling Bane on the way. Adrenal on the way. Seismic Spines is about to finish up. And both Hydra upgrades have now kicked in. So those Hydras we were worried about earlier, those Zealots, they've all got their necessary upgrades now. The question is, where is the Psy Storm? Because there are not a lot of High Templar on this map right now. There's no Psy Storm at all.
Yeah, the High Templar are quite fresh here. Better served as Archons at the moment, but the High Templar line pick them off before they get the energy. Decent force field zoning back the Hydras. Kaelus is mismanaging his economy a little bit. He's not grabbed the gases at that Nexus down here on the low ground. And he's just, and even at the third base here, the bottom left,
he's just trapped his army. He's just trapped his army with recall, Maynard. The Archons could not. As soon as he recalled to that base, I was worried because he's built this gateway circle. His whole army is trapped. That Archon says, no, you can't leave, guys. You didn't pay the tax. The whole army is trapped in the fucking mineral line.
The airline made me pay for 3 tickets because I'm too large for a regular seat.
Oh my god. Oh, poor Kaelus. When recall strikes back, dude. Oh my god. Oh, Zax, when he watches that replay, is going to be so happy.
GG. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Xaxziminrax getting the victory there. So Kaelus falling apart a little bit after that run by. Those diagonal walls, man. Gets them every time. Like you said, even the higher level players get caught by that one.
Yeah, damn, dude. Those run bys and whatnot. Oof, 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 oof. I think it's Roddy, right? Who he likes to just leave a DT in his choke point with like a really thick choke point in the late game, so his units automatically shuffle through. But then he doesn't have, so he can leave it not on hold position, so Immortals can rally out. But then he also doesn't need to worry about it just getting killed or anything like that. And he has some special little DT technique. I think maybe it's he follows the DT on something. I can't remember it exactly, but he has some special technique in the late game to make sure that stuff never happens to him. Nonetheless, we are here in game 4, and it's good to see we have a series on our hand, Maynard, because up here in the top right, he's finally tasted a bit of the bitter taste of Zerg swarming every base at once. It is Kaelus.
Tis indeed. In the bottom left, in the light blue, this is Xaxziminrax playing the Zerg pieces, getting a point on the board. Trying to tie things up.
Oxide, of course, going to be a map where it's quite easy to defend some of the frontal choke points, but as you take a 4th and then a 5th, you get very exposed, quite stretched out.
Forge.
Oh. Naughty, naughty. Forge first as well. Oh, is he going to do the 2 pylon wall? Just like to the left? Or he's going to do it down there, down the back. Okay. That was a very suspect probe, by the way. I wonder if Zax is paying attention. Dude, Kaelus, honestly, the way he's playing this series, this is some Big Brother bully shit. He's like, I'm going to beat you with every different... But like, he's not doing the same thing every game. He's changing it up. He's doing all sorts of wild strats. This is hard to play against. He's got to cancel the pylon. You got to cancel the pylon. Okay.
I was going to worry there for a second. Yeah, Xaxziminrax still unknown. Doesn't know about the dangers lying in the back of that natural just yet. Still no vision of it. Oh man, that hatchery's in a spot of bother. Yeah, Xaxziminrax just thinks this is a normal game so far. He's got no information. That
probe just came out from such a sus angle, and Zax told his overlord, he's like, oh, I should just double check. Like, you know, maybe he did cannon rush. Cannons are going to finish just before the hatch. He could cancel it. He could cancel it. Cancel. Ah, doesn't get to cancel it. Not the end of the world. I mean, you could always get a queen out, drop a creep tumor there, go take your 3rd base, that sort of thing. It's not the absolute end, because remember, this was a very delayed gateway, and there's no expansion behind this. Kaelus is going cannon before Nexus at home. So I don't know if Kaelus gets ahead off this so much as F's up Zax's game plan. He's like, I'm just going to screw your game plan up. Make you take a weird natural expand. Like, so... Well, interestingly, Zax is building a lot of Zerglings like he wants to fight this, but there's no way you break this in time to save that hatch.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of Zergs out there that maybe don't like have a super huge grasp on what to do at this moment, where they just make Zerglings.
Run, Queen!
I always liken the holding of the Ling button as avoiding of the bowels for a Zerg dead potty. Oh no, those Lings are just dying, man. The Queen doesn't know what she wants to do. She's getting in there. She's got back there. Spinecrawler lands, but I think it's in range of at least one cannon.
Oh no! Zax is losing so much stuff.
He's lost so much.
Okay, the one thing that's going... He hasn't taken a third elsewhere yet.
High fine.
Dude, he hasn't taken a third elsewhere. That's the big problem. So he can clear this out, but I just don't think there was any real urgency on clearing this exact position.
No.
Yeah, look at the third. What is this, dude? Is he four-gating?
Yeah, he says, like, Zach's going to come in here with a drone, see it, and there's a cannon here before the extra gateway. So the drone's just like, oh, man.
This is legitimately bad, though. This is, like, not even a good build that Kaelus is doing. This is the build you do to piss your friend off. Like, these gateways are going to take so long to actually turn into a real threat. And Zax is massing spines on one base. Oh, Zax didn't keep droning during this. He threw so many Lings away. I think if Zax just holds down the drone key, he can stabilize, go take a hidden base or something like that. You know, get your Ling speed up. But the problem for Zax is he's frozen up. And that's the scary thing, because I feel like he keeps going into the series going, okay, just be ready for the Void Ray harass, just be ready. And then every game, Kaelus is like, nah, man, crazy blink calling. Now cannon rush into 4 gateways at your third base. Charge. Oh no, he needs roaches. You can't fight that without like either a wall of spines or a big ball of roaches. Zerglings won't cut it.
No, they won't. No, this is such a massive all-in from Kaelus. Still no Nexus and the natural. It's just one base. He's still mining gas. I'm not sure what for. He's about to do nothing but Zealots. Nothing he's going to do from now on requires gas.
Oh, Zax, you can't fly into cannons. Don't go up there. Don't go up there. You know, Zax is making so many Zerglings that he might be able to just overwhelm. He's at a point where earlier I was like, no, you need to drone. You need like more money. You're really with 14 workers. But now he's committed so much to this point where I'm like, just mass so many Zerglings. Maybe you get like a 6 around, clear the Zealots, and then you're like back in this game. Because remember, Kaelus is only on one base, right? There is always like one big fight does decide the game, and Zealots don't have +8 damage like they used to. So they 3-shot the Zerglings. Zerglings do great damage. You got a few spines here. He's trying to build more. I think these extra spines are a little too late. He's going to try and wall off the front. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it. There is still an opening, but it could mess with the Zealots a little bit. I think if the Zealots dive past the Spine Crawlers, it's bad for Zax. He really needs to get a full wall if he wants to make this work, I think.
He's got so many Zerglings, though. So, like, it's kind of weird because he's kind of caught between the mobile and the immobile. Oh, no, not out there. Zax, get out of there. Run, behind the spines, Okay, this is, yeah, you can't fight there as Kaelus. Now, Kaelus doesn't really know about the base over to the left. He might not realize. I mean, Zerglings are kind of rallying in from that direction, so maybe he will. Still equal army value. The DT shrine, though, is almost finished. And there's enough gas for 1 DT, so that's a big potential problem. Okay, Zax is like, please come fight my spine crawlers. Come on. Come on up here, boys. Come on. Come get some Zergling treats.
Kaelus is using something that Xaxziminrax needs to learn how to use, and that is the hold position key. The Zealots not being debated into a fight, whereas I've seen Xaxziminrax multiple times in the series have half of his Lings pulled into a meat grinder against a Protoss Psyblade. And yeah, the Invisible Men. Oh, man. This is something that Xaxziminrax is not expecting. And the Invisible Men could straight up just end this. There's no detection, no lair. And there comes the first Invisible Man.
I think he's got it, man. Kaelus pulling out all of his dirty build orders. He's pulling them all out. And, the Queen's caught the Zerglings. Oh, no, they just moved commanding through. The Zerglings damage 1 Zealot, the entire army. Ow.
I mean, even if the Zerglings took a better fight there, the Invisible Man was about to kill all of the massive 21 drone economy of Xaxziminrax. There wasn't really a whole lot that he could do from that point, so it really was checkmate. And Kaelus is finding himself on match point here in this best of 7.
3-1 up at the moment, and yeah, going into map 5. I mean, a 4-1. Woof. Kaelus. I mean, I feel like Kaelus is just going to do something brand new again. It's like, you know, this is truly. I don't look at these builds and go, oh, this is pro gamer levels of refinement. But when you're playing against someone who knows you well, this is amazing to swap it constantly. Play with their expectations, attack at surprising times, transition to different things, stay fluid, stay flexible. And that's exactly what has been happening in this series so far. So I think well played by this man down here in the bottom right-hand side. In the orange, It's on Romanticide. Can it be a romantic 4-1 finish for the Protoss? He is Kaelus.
He is indeed. Looking to fight back. He's against the ropes, but he will not give up. He's a battler. It is Xaxziminrax. I mean, I don't think they've been playing with these skins until this game, but both players seem to have equipped the Brood War version of their main base structure. And specifically, the Brood War hatchery and the Nexus look like garbage to me. Like, there's been some times when my dog overeats, and then what comes out of him a few minutes later is what the main base of Xaxziminrax looks like.
I think it's great, dude. I think the Planetary Fortress is also a piece of art. I think the classic Brood War Planetary Fortress. That's right. It looks like some shit out of
made out of brass. like, what is this thing? And I'm like, is this some steampunk garbage that we're seeing right now from the Terran?
It looks like some bad CGI from the original Star Wars films. Like, it's so fucking terrible.
Dude. I mean, I would even go so far as to say that it looks like it's from like one of those early 3D like TV shows, like you know, when 3D first became a thing, and people were just like, "Here's a polygon with one texture on it. It's like 3 whole pixels." It looks almost like that. That, you know, maybe slightly better. I'm being a little bit cruel, but it's like slightly better. But yeah, no, what's really impressed me about Kaelus in the series so far is that he's had something different every game. He's not a one-trick pony. He's specifically had a build order that he's clearly like done at least once or twice before. Although I will say, last game might have been a little bit of freestyle. You know, that's a game where I'm thinking he might have just thrown a little bit at the wall and seen what sticks. Because that was a weird one.
Follow-up looked made up. That looked...
yeah. You're just like, Jesus, take the wheel! Take your hands off the keyboard, and all of a sudden 4 more gateways appear, and charge starts, and a dark shrine. You're like, all right.
It's very rare a half-baked idea wins you a tournament in a tournament game, but the opening cannon rush was just solid. So the opening piece was good. Follow-up a little bit wild, but it worked out, and definitely came out on top. Already... Oh, Zergling all in. Is this Zergling all in, Zax? Already going to 12 Zerglings. Keep hitting that Zergling key, buddy. If you're going to go this hard, just go for broke. I want to see non-stop Zerglings coming across this map. More of them are queuing up.
I'm a big fan. You know, Kaelus has just finished off a bit of a janky wall, unfortunately for him, with the pylon. The Adept is plugging the hole at the moment, but with a Zergling all in, that's going to be a lot more than one Adept can handle. So
no second gateway unit. That's so greedy, Maynard. So greedy. Parting used to do this all the time, and then every Zerg started like ling rushing him like 1 in 2 games basically, and he's like, okay, I'll always build a second gateway unit. He's like, it's not worth dying this much. There's a Void Ray on the way in a second Adept, but these Zerglings, they're going to start breaking through real soon. So Kaelus is going to need to wall off. We're going to see the game of the wall off. I think the rally points haven't been set across the map yet, which is from... Oh, he's pulling drones? Zax is pulling drones, but they're a bit late, dude. He hasn't control grouped him. He's forgotten about him. Oh, he's forgotten about him. I think he's taken too long. I don't know. I mean, it can still work because they stop the wall off, right? That's what's so powerful. The drones are going to hit the minerals, drill through as the first attack. But the Void Ray sees the Zerglings. Wall off. If Kaelus walls off, he's got this series in the bag. If he walls off right now, he has the series in the bag.
He's got the money for it. I don't know if he realizes what he's looking at here, Pig. Oh, it's too late. The Adepts once again.
Oh my
they're just not in the right spot. This is devastating.
God.
The Void Rays will eventually kill this, but how much is going to be left of Kaelus before that happens? He's going to lose every probe. There's not too many Lings in the main just yet, but of course he's dealing with the natural. There we go. Now Xaxziminrax into the main base. No other Stargate unit queued up. Kaelus is nearly floating 1,000 minerals here. I don't think he knows what to do.
Yeah, I mean, what can you do, right? It's like, oh no, he didn't get the wall off. He's probably done. But then also the Adept wasn't in the wall again. I mean, honestly, it's time. You got to pay for those Adepts' further education. How to stand in the middle of the doorway. It's got to be a required course for a security guard Adept. I've been saying this for years. We don't require enough certification for our security as Protoss players, and I think Kaelus is learning that lesson the hard way.
He is indeed. The drone's drilling through that Adept and the wall in to just kill her dead. And again, like the Void Rays are eventually going to clean this up, but Kaelus is rocking an entire 4 probes right now. That is not a good-looking wall, but it is a wall.
There's a Predator in the main, Maynard. 2 kills on that drone. Almost gets a third. Hey, dickhead, this is my minerals. These are my minerals. Oh, what do you think you're doing? What do you think? Oh, shit.
This feels like that scene from, have you seen the movie Kung Pao? Oh, no, Kung Fury, or the Kung Fu Fury, or whatever it is. Where
Into the Fist or something like that. Right?
Kung Fu Hustle. There we go. I did it. Third time's a charm.
Oh, Kung Fu Hustle. Yeah, ages ago. Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy is like picking out people that look really weak out of a crowd, and he's like, you. And then the drone stands up and it's jacked. Like it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger from the neck down, and it's all like oiled up and ready to fight. He's like, no, sit down. You know what? I don't want to beat up on kids. It's like one of those drones, man, is like way stronger than you thought. From the neck up, it looks like a drone. From the neck down, it's like an Ultralisk. It's just hugging through all those probes.
Oh, no.
Counterattack of the Void Ray is here, and I tell you what, there's not that many Queens. There's a couple about to pop, though, so they should be all right if they're together.
Yeah, keeps that Reddit point Queen alive. She ends up being jailbait, and oh no!
Oh, Sigmund, he should have zagged. Kaelus.
Dude, you know what? Kaelus is only down 7 workers. That 1,000 mineral bank, he's like, you thought I lost everything, but I had enough money to chrono probes for like 2 minutes straight after you left, and it's actually led to a kind of decent recovery because Xax, so much of his economy was on the other side of the map, and yeah, Xax is. I still think Xax should win this game for sure, but like it's a bit closer than it needed to be, I guess. And if those Zerglings, I think they could have maybe broken the wall while the Void Rays were on the other side of the map, but now they missed the opportunity. They go, well, you're trapped on 2 base. So as long as Xax holds down the drone key, I think he should get way ahead here.
Yeah, he should indeed. And he actually just made a round of like 13 drones while you were talking as well. So he did take a big leap ahead in workers, still making many more drones. And, it's about that point where Xax should really start grabbing those extra gases and taking up a little bit, I feel. He's been staying in one gas for a little bit too long, I think.
Actually, his main and natural aren't really saturated, so I hope he realizes that. 'Cause it's easy if your build gets messed up like this to not notice that. Remember, you pulled all your drones out of your main at the start, so
yeah,
Zach's face is a problem right now where he might think he's at 60 workers when he's at 45. it's like, oh, look at the natural, look at third. Yeah, like he's like, cool, let's go 4 gases, let's go for this. It's like his mineral income's actually way lower than it appears when you look at the saturation on his far bases. So I like that Kaelus is just picking off a few units, trying to recover. I don't know, man. If there's a game where you go like, I don't know, DTs and disruptors, this is probably it. You got to have some sort of crazy comeback unit because Kaelus is just so light on economy and light on the ground units behind this.
I think those 13 drones that Xaxziminrax is making are going. Yeah, they're rallied to the main. So he's gonna. He just looked at his main when the Oracle showed up and went, "Oh, this thing's looking a little ghastly at the moment. It's not looking super great." So Lair begins. He's grabbed his extra gases in the natural. He's actually got 4 gases now. 1 in the main, 2 in the natural, and 1 at the third. As he goes towards Lair. Kaelus, on the other hand, more gateways. Twilight Council, a Toilette Concile. Is Kaelus going to go for a 2 base here to follow things up with?
Yeah, needs to break his own pylon down just to get a 3rd. So I can understand it. Stasis trap on the high ground's a cute idea, but Kaelus keeps misclicking it here. He's tried it. Oh, Kaelus! Oh,
there
okay. He gets it. Nice. That was a good move. It's so funny the way like drop-offs and cliffs work in StarCraft 2 because of the perspective, right? Where you're clicking somewhere drastically different if you click just above or just below a cliff or a kind of contour line, I guess you could call it, where it just leads to these drastically different results. And a couple of misclicks there, a bit of nervousness for Kaelus. Gets the stasis trap, and Xax does forget to put the workers back for a few seconds. I think that's what I really like about stasis trap, because you look at the raw mineral damage, it's not very good. Even when you get like 8 workers, it's like but it's the fact that it distracts them when it comes in, pisses them off, and then they have to go back 20 seconds later and tell the workers to go back to mining. That's the really annoying thing, is this like double disruption. Very few harassments cost so little APM and cause such a big disruption.
Voidray getting an Overlord here, just doing whatever he can. I mean, obviously chip damage is still damage as Xaxziminrax tries to regain footing. I'd say that Xaxziminrax is feeling a lot more comfortable right now. 70 drones, 4th bases are just started up here. He could have gotten it potentially even a little bit earlier. He's heading towards his comfort zone of Ling, Bane, Hydra, which he loves to be on. And if those Banelings are up, I mean, that's when the charge lots really start to fall off. And it is like, you see with these Lings, a lack of 3rd base here from the Protoss. And you got to be thinking, oh, what's happening on 2 bases? We know that it's a bunch of gateways with a... what's coming out? An observer here. Warp Prism's queued, but he's supply blocked on 86. Oh no, Kaelus. He's got to queue up some pylons here.
Zax has got to go home and make banelings right now. I think he's okay. He's making 35 offensive banelings. Kaelus stumbles over and sees it. Oh, you got to spread those zealots. Spread your zealots, Kaelus. No!
Spread 'em! Oh my God! Where were those Jean-Claude Van Damme splits that we were talking about before? Goes for the defensive warp in, but these banelings are breaking things open. I mean, obviously Kaelus can plug this hole, and there's not like a follow-up Ling flood. So, you know, it doesn't look like Xaxziminrax is going to capitalize on that bust, but he does kill all the zealots.
That was one of the silliest attacks I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a flood of Lings behind it, I'm like, all right. But it's just the Banes, and you're like, ha ha! And then that's it.
35 slow banelings, dude. Targa would be proud. He's somewhere, you know, lifting weights in a gym in Norway with a monumental stiffy. Someone made far too many slow banelings.
Yeah, good old Targa. Yeah, he's just benching a car in his backyard, probably.
I think that was a pretty good trade for Kaelus, but because he doesn't have a third, it's one of those ones where it's like it's almost like Zax is giving him a bit of his own medicine now. Zax is like, I'm gonna just roll over you, dude, with my steamroll. I just got too much stuff. I've got static at every base. I got 70 workers. I'm making hydras. I'm making speed banes. Like Zax finally, I think, gets to get in his groove this game. And you know what? If he finishes this game off, which is looking like he will, he's gonna take it back to 3-2.
Oh. Oracle dice are free there as well at the 4th hatchery. 5th hatchery up at 12 o'clock. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, Xaxziminrax is starting to run away with this one. He's setting up another Baneling attack, maybe waiting for Baneling speed. What would be really cool if he just waits for the Nexus to finish so the probes are all just going back to that Nexus and then you come in, because then you can kill way more than just, like, what looks to be maybe 4 or 5 here, or 1.
2 Banelings a probe, yeah, not the greatest, and the rest are just going to lose a Stalker, so not really doing much, but it does give scouting, and it kind of just confirmed, yeah, okay, gets a Zealot and a couple probes, not too many, but...
Better than I thought, but yeah.
And now he rolls another one in from the Xax. All right, buddy.
All right.
The Archons are going to enjoy this one, dude.
Yeah. I think Xaxziminrax has been watching a little bit of like Cyril and Raynor, and he's got like an idea of what he needs to, of what you can do to hit, and he's like, you know, it's like when I assembled a coat rack recently, Pig, and you're going to be like, why does that have to do with anything? What happened, Pig, is that there was an instruction manual. I read page 1 and page 8, and I did not read page 2 through 7. I think Xaxziminrax might have done that with the Cyril and Raynor games that he's been modeling his run-bys off of. Where he read the first page, and that's like, yes, Baneling Nest, okay, I need that. And then step 8 on page 8, it's enjoy your coat rack. And unfortunately, like, there's a lot of steps in between that. There's a lot of if, ands, and else then, you know, sort of situations where you know, it can work or not work. And speaking of which, this choke point, very nice for Kaelus for those force fields. Luckily, Xaxziminrax does pull back at the bulk of his forces and doesn't overextend there.
Okay, I like Archons because they're good versus the Ling Bane, but as the Hydra count grows, I think you're going to be forced into Storm as Kaelus, and Kaelus is so far behind and needs some heroic fights. I definitely think that's going to be the way. I think Zach's a little sad with this one. He only had enough gas for 13 Banelings, so he's like, I guess I'll run my Lings in, and oh no. Kaelus, this is what caused damage at the start of this game, and it's going to ruin him later on in the game as well.
This is what it sounds like when probes cry.
Oh my god, that third base is about to get absolutely hammered. A Stalker walks in the choke, but his army gets absolutely routed on the left-hand side. And those Stalkers, they can try to hold the line.
Man.
Just too much serve.
Yeah, and I like that Xaxziminrax is still sitting in this game and farming XP right now. Like, I was about to click the score screen button, but now I'm just curious, how long is Xaxziminrax going to sit here and kill things for?
I already hopped out, so let me know. I'd love to know.
Oh,
you got to taste the victory, you know?
Yeah, he's just like, God, I want that level 50 Zerg portrait. Got to get up there. Got to get that XP. One more Nexus. 400 XP.
He's I'm practicing my moves. You're just butchering a cadaver. Come on, don't call it anything. You're getting your aggression out on the corpse of the Protoss. It's fine. We all do it sometimes.
Hey, he probably felt good about that one. He's just having a little bit of fun. And that was a very solid game from Xaxziminrax. So that was one of those games where Xaxziminrax's attack could have potentially ended the game, but instead it kind of crippled Kaelus. But the good thing from Xaxziminrax is that he got the lead and kept it and didn't throw it away, which can happen a lot in like, you know, when you're like Diamond and trying to approach Masters and you haven't got like a super huge grasp on all the terrible situations that can follow up after an attack that doesn't end the game. That's very all in.
Indeed. And well, you know what? Kaelus, he just did a love heart. with the attack move commands, a red love heart before putting that pylon down with the probe rally point. A true Huck fan from the old days, I bet. Of course, Huck known for doing that. In the bottom right, he's still only one game from finishing it. He's got one more life to spare. It's Kaelus.
And up at the top left, starting to fight back in the series last couple of games, this is Xaxziminrax. And both these players are very closely matched, so I'm glad we're getting a bit of a closer series here. And Kaelus, of course, could potentially end it in Game 6, but yeah, cool to see a fight back. I think this map is also a pretty decent one for Zerg against Protoss once it gets to a certain point.
Yeah.
And actually, Xaxziminrax even showing, you know, in that last game on Romanticide, once the Zerg gets enough creep spread like he had on Romanticide, it's kind of tough to do anything as a Protoss in this map without like maybe getting a Prism in the main or taking like a really amazing fight in the middle of the map somewhere.
Yeah, I got to agree with that one. And I like that the player who's been more proactive with their game plan has come out victorious for the most part in this series. That last one was obviously just, hey, let's go for a big old Link Flood. I think the drone pool was a little slow, but it worked out. It got in there. And I like that. You know, the Blink Stalker all in with the Archons from Kaelus. I think objectively not really a great build for the situation he was in, but it really put Zax on the back foot. You could tell Zax panicked a bit in defending it, and it won the game. So I think what we're seeing here is because in some of the games, like the first game, for instance, it felt like both players were really kind of sitting back and waiting to see what the other player did. But it feels like since then, whenever one player's kind of gone in with a really firm game plan of how they're going to take the fight to the opponent, they've been winning because of that. And it seems like Kaelus is going to try to carry that through to the final game. Now, this pylon is up a little late in the top right. Sniper Core's already done. But, I mean, he's going to go straight for the Stargate as soon as that finishes. Might even go for 2 Adepts as well. He actually starts Warp Gate straight away. So that does... Wait. Oh, it's a fake proxy. But he builds the Robo in Vision of the Overlord. Oh no, he put it down too early. Kaelus. I don't know if Zax was watching though. Zax needs to go back and check that's a Robo. Maybe he proxies a gate here later?
A Twilight. Oh, Dark Shrine? Oh, he's going proxy Dark Shrine, mate. This is a Robo for a War Prism.
Oh, and the Zerglings are kind of looking around, but not much. And he's got them all on the same path. This is definitely not... Home. This is not 2013 Jaedong, you know, where you'd have those Zerglings check every single corner of the map because pylons were so dangerous back then in that earlier stage of StarCraft 2 where you could fast warp in anywhere on the map. This Twilight's going to go up unspotted, and did the probe go home?
I think it did, so no Dark Shrine then. I mean, if you're going to proxy a Twilight Council, I kind of expect, I was going to say it's going to be Charge or Resonating Glaives. I have seen some proxy Twilight Council like Blink all-ins before, but I think Probe actually did one against Risky once in like Oceanic Dreamhack Masters kind of thing, like a WCS Challenger thing. Xaxziminrax is going to have very little information in this game. Normally his Overlord gets every bit of information he wants, but this game, that Stalker is going to bully him back, and Xaxziminrax seems to, he thinks something is amiss here. He's making Spore Crawlers, he hasn't seen a Stargate, he's not making many drones right now. So, yeah, I'm just keeping an eye on the production tab here for Xaxziminrax. He's getting spores up, so he is not. I don't think he's got the right read on what's happening here just yet.
Yeah, no, not at all. Does put down the Roach Warren. Those spores are really early, so I actually really prefer when someone has some more Zerglings on the map. But right now he's got 4, and they're just chilling. He's not poking the front of the base or anything. I think if you're poking the front, you can kind of at least confirm if those Adepts move out with a Prism, and that's a big tell in of itself. But without that. Oh no, he might just die. This might be the end of the series, you know. Praise be our Lord and Savior Zest. We're like, cool, we're gonna see a sick grand finals, Rogue vs. Arrow, yeah. And Zest is like, ha. And now I usher in 6 months of just Adepts in this matchup. You're welcome, you can thank me later. StarCraft fans are like, Zest, what the hell, man?
Well, see, it's actually Rogue's fault as well because Maru was also meant to beat him in that best of 5, not lose.
That's true.
It was meant to be Cyril Maru in the grand final, which would have been a dream for our only LAN of 2020. Just the one LAN. Feels bad, man. The Lynx see the Prism, but I don't know if Xaxziminrax is looking at the mini-map, but he is making half a dozen Roaches. Oh, pulls the Lynx back. All right.
Roaches is a beginning. And you know what? Okay, he did get an Adept in the wall. Third base behind this gets denied. This is 6 gate, man. That's a lot of Adepts. So the next warp in is where this really spirals out of control if you don't build enough roaches. Ling's going in ahead. You got to be careful. I feel like the roaches need to split from the zerglings, right? You kind of want the roaches and queens to fight. The Ling's only to engage after a shade finishes. Kaelus has to cancel that one. Still a few too many units here. Good micro by Kaelus so far. The Ling's getting a bit of damage. I think that's an okay trade for Xax. He's supply block. He's building 5 overlords right now. He's only got 10 roaches out. That's a lot of adepts, but you know what? The adepts took a bit too much damage. I don't think he can win this fight. It looks like this is going totally fine for Xax. Xax actually hanging on.
Wow. Oh, Queen's getting off creep here. Now, this is a little bit dangerous. If Kaelus cancels the shade, which he does, he can potentially kill some Queens here.
Yeah, a little sloppy there.
Yeah, these Queens are important. They're not only transfusion for the roaches, they're also a pretty good meat shield, good backline-ish damage, good-ish damage, and they're also the answer to the War Prism if that thing gets deeper on creep, and things start to go Protoss's way.
Deeper, deeper, deeper. The Protoss way. The roaches... Yeah, going a bit far. I think he'd like to counterattack and deny the opponent's third. The Lings are trying to break the natural. Kaelus single adept kills 6 Zerglings there. While does let 1 inside the base to scout the lack of a follow-up. I mean... He spent everything on adepts, so there's no tech or anything like that. Realizes this is just, okay, build plenty of units, survive, and I am okay. And I think Xax is in a good spot for that. He's up on 3 gases, has got roach speed, tons of queens on the way, tons of zerglings. This is a really good setup from Xax. And if he could just find the proxy, yes.
Yep. So getting rid of the Twilight Council is fantastic. This, obviously means no charge you have to worry about. You have to worry about blink or anything like that. And you don't have to worry about a Dark Shrine. Obviously, there's the Overseers now, and there's Spore Crawlers from earlier as well, so maybe you're less worried about that. But Xaxziminrax has got a very beefy army, and he's got map control at the moment. He set up Lings for what looks to be a bit of a run-by, and they might get it too, as the army of Kaelus is all at the third base right now. He's got nothing in that wall.
Yeah, this is one of Kaelus's big weaknesses, is consistently pulling units out of that wall, I think, not sure if a bit of an F2 addict or just... someone who really enjoys being in the driver's seat, but this has been a bit of a downfall in this series, right? There's been moments where it's like, oh, Kaelus maybe could make a comeback, and then, nah, doesn't work out. A lot of Stalkers warping in, not bad units versus Roaches, but these do not have Blink. A Forge only now going down. They try to catch on up in the tech, but it's just basically unupgraded gateway units with a few Immortals backing it up.
Yeah, I mean, his army is very anti-Roach still, and he's got no Ravagers to worry about. Xaxziminrax clearly hates Ravagers. He hasn't made a single one in the last 6 games. A lot of Zergs really like Ravagers at the moment against Protosses. Kaelus's army is quite big.
Linglong's in the
Ling's getting that run by. I mean, we saw that coming a mile away here.
That's a good one. Already 8 probes and a Zealot that was warping in. Forces a big Zealot warping in the main. Dude, that's a lot of probe damage. Oh, man, his economy was already really bad. Now it's a big all-in, essentially. Building Roaches and Hydras is Xax. I feel like just Roaches and Ravagers and just having enough units should be enough. Well, positioning. Hey, don't chase up the ramp, but you are good. Great positioning from Xax says. Don't let him down the choke point. That's always going to be a good fight.
Yeah, he's got plenty of creep to work with. I mean, if Kaelus was coming from like maybe the 4th hatchery angle, I feel like maybe he's got less creep to have to worry about. But at the moment, he's got a huge carpet to make his way to the Zerg's infrastructure. So Xax can fight on creep like for ages here before the Protosses make any progress.
Unlike the red carpet of very expensive, fancy Hollywood events and that sort of stuff, the purple carpet is something nobody likes to step on, but unfortunately you almost always have to if you want to take down a Zerg player. It is their
14
home,
drones.
Their special place. I think he's okay to do that as well. He's got 40 roaches, I think he should be all right. Some Ravagers really would make the world a difference. I don't know if this is the greatest angle for Xax to be fighting on. And it's kind of a super awkward angle, but there's an Immortal in the front.
I mean, the force fields weren't amazing. There was a bit of a trade there for both players, and like you mentioned, he's got a bigger work account, so it's okay for the Zerg to trade a little bit worse. He's actually done a really good job at making sure injects are active on every hatchery as well, which is something that Xaxziminrax had a little bit of trouble with, specifically in Game 1, was floating a bit of money and a bit of lava, not able to actually remake that army. He needed to seal the deal after being ahead for a while. I'm also glad for Kaelus on the other side of things that he grabbed that Observer that was sort of chilling there for a bit and is starting to pull back the creep a little bit while doing this attack. Again, like the creep is a problem for him. He doesn't really have like splash damage here in this army. He's just got a lot of gateway units.
Slow Zealot run by, or should I say walk by Maynard. Oh no.
Yeah, no Twilight.
It's like a bunch of people on mobility scooters terrorizing the neighborhood. It's not really the scariest thing. This is not the same as having a motorcycle gang rock up.
Yeah, and I think Kaelus thinks that he still has a Twilight Council, or at least isn't thinking about it, because he normally at this point would have one. So he won't be able to start +2 either, but that may not come to fruition. We got a lot of Concave Zerg here. Oh my god, this fight is not good at all for Kaelus. A lot of roaches coming forward with the Hydras on the back line. Once the Immortals are gone, this is an easy army for Xaxziminrax to deal with. He's a little bit wonky. He's a little bit low hit point on those roaches on the front line there. Yes, he's losing some drones to these slow zealots, but I mean, Xaxziminrax's reinforcements will be more than enough to handle all of this.
Or will they, Maynard?
They will.
Yes, they will. They will smash it. +1 melee lings will come in. They should be able to clean that up, especially with the help of the rest of the army. And yeah, dead man walking for the Protoss player Kaelus here. He's trying to hang on, but no comeback mechanics here. These zealots aren't finding damage. They don't even have charge. The Twilight Council just starts up now. Starts a plasma shields upgrade because he's like, well, I can't even start +2 attack. Like, I guess I get shields.
And armor's useless, so yeah.
Hot damn. Not a good spot to be playing with no power units for Kaelus. Just that's what you want as Protoss. So supply looks bad even if Kaelus had power units. Without power units, that is just a vast army of Zerg. And I mean, there's no Hydra movement speed, so they do lag behind a little bit, but I don't even think it matters. Xax can just cascade up this ramp. Overwhelm. There's not enough damage output for Kaelus. That one Immortal, I mean, it does a lot of damage, but unupgraded Stalkers are not going to be the backup it needs.
There's going to be GG right there, and we're going to go to a Game 7, man. Damn. I mean, this series is... I'm glad it's going this way because these guys are so closely matched, and it's cool to see. Kaelus is all... I think Xaxziminrax is pulling back from a fight that he absolutely wins. But maybe just playing with his food a little bit. Yeah, he had that game. Like, that was it right there, but he pulled back for some reason.
Yeah, he's just trying to macro, right? Like 2-2, OV speed, extra Hydra upgrade, Lurker Den, droned a bit, took some more gases. So he's trying to make sure he doesn't fall behind on other things, right? Trying to make sure he's like, okay, don't put all my eggs in one basket, you know, gather it up. I'm not sure if this fight's good. Clearly just getting his attention pulled around a bit. And I think that's fine, as long as he cleans up these drops, which that Spine Crawler Tentacle does beat Psyblade, apparently, as that Zealot gets turned into gas, and it's going to take a little while. But yeah, this is going to be hard, because Kaelus has come out with crazy different builds. I don't know what the next map is, but do you think Kaelus in the next game goes back to just the Void Ray opening? It felt like that was what he's most comfortable with.
Maybe. I mean, does he really want to play the longer game here? If they're playing this best of 7 all in one sitting, that is. Does he want to play the longer game after such a long series all the way into Game 7? Oh my god, the Lings are all the way into the natural. I mean, obviously, we've been sort of riding off Kaelus here, and there are comebacks in StarCraft, but all the comeback units aren't here for the Protoss. So we're basically saying that all Xaxziminrax needs to do is continue to make units. He doesn't even need these 11 lurkers rather. If that was 11 Hydralisks, it would still just be enough to deal with what Kaelus has right now. Then we've got a maxed out player against a guy with 76 supply, and Xaxziminrax hopefully will stop toying with his opponent and put him down, put him to sleep.
Yeah, I understand, Zax. You know, Kaelus is your friend, but let's be real. I know you have a certain feeling about Protoss players. They're poo-poo heads. Most Zerg players think this. You know, it's the very mature, just objective analysis of how Protoss plays. And there's only one thing to do to a poo-poo head, and that's to waffle stomp at Zax. So let's get in here and finish this one off. And indeed he does. Zerglings on the third. Lurkers and Hydras. Yeah, just push it through that shower grate. Come on.
Yeah, just work your foot in there. Don't be afraid. Your foot will be clean. You're in the shower. There it is. Oh, no GG!
No GG!
No GG! I was gonna say, you know, maybe they're in Discord and just sort of like talking to each other during the game because they are friends. But I did see GGs in the other games, so Kaelus not too happy with how that game went, I think.
What can I say, man? That's how it goes. Xax and Kaelus going to Game 7 on El Submarino. That's right. Shortest rush distance in the pool. Zerg versus Protoss.
Oh my. All right. Well, we're going to Game 7, man. This is cool. I'm actually a little bit excited here. This is great. And it's up left. Dominating at the start of the series, but starting to fall apart a little bit. Can he tighten it up, pull up his socks, and get it done for one final map at the top left? This is Kaelus.
And his opponent down here in the bottom right-hand side. I dare say I want to... Oh, that hurts.
Oh, no.
This is Xax. I was going to say, I dare say I want to offer some advice, and that is to do Zergling run bys. He's going 14 hatch because he's worried about getting blocked. Oh, that's so inefficient. That's such an inefficient. I can understand why he's done it, but that costs you so much. Kaelus is scouting really late this game. This is the one game where Kaelus didn't opt for an early block, and Xax has put a huge amount of money into getting his hatch down on time. Now, I don't know. I would guess this puts you like a drone and a half behind. Part of me feels like if you just go pool first, it's got to be more efficient than this.
Yeah. You could. I mean, obviously, we know right now that this could have been maybe a 16 hatchery. Like the probe just went to drop a pylon, then a gateway, then it scouted, which is very annoying for the Zerg to have to cut so many drones for a hatchery here at the start of the game.
Yeah, that spawning pool is about 4 seconds later than for a normal hatch first. Gas about 18, 19 seconds later. So you're going to get lava quicker on your natural, though. So that's the thing. You do get quicker lava on that expansion, right? Because that's going to be done so fast. So there are some upsides to it. It doesn't put you epically behind. He will catch back up in terms of economy. And, well, interestingly, Kaelus has gone core before Nexus. I'm not sure. I don't think he did that in the previous games. That will allow him to get out earlier depths as needed, and that sort of thing. It can allow him to do, that sort of stuff. Looks like he's going to do, once again, pylon behind the main mineral line, hide his tech back there. And you know what? I think Void Ray on Submarine is always a good choice, just because it keeps you safe against some of the sillier attacks on this map.
Yeah, this is a very popular rally attack map. Like I've seen a lot of that 19 drone League Flood stuff, Roach Warren attacks, like dedicated 3 hatchery Roach Warren attacks with Ravagers and Lings from the Zerg. But you're quite right. Like when you get to Void Rays, that is basically the anti-all-in unit that you want, the Void Ray for the most part, right? Except for maybe the Lings. Maybe the Lings, you want an Oracle instead because they're just a little bit better against the Lings. But it does. I think if you go Void Ray, but you're good with your SimCity, that's like chef's kiss. That's how you stop
actually,
the all-ins.
Like the Oracle does more damage faster, but it doesn't last as long. So I feel like having one Void Ray out, by the time a Ling Flood finishes, that thing has 40 kills. An Oracle never gets 40 kills, right?
No.
And it only costs 50 more minerals, so I'm a big fan of it. Stargate into Robo. Well, that's interesting. Robo in the wall.
Is he trying to sell a story here, maybe?
He might be, but that just means he doesn't have enough money to build a Void Ray straight away. So hurts him a little bit there. He only went 1 gateway unit, so kind of greedy, but a much better wall off for Kaelus. For once, he doesn't have that terrible diagonal. He has a 3 grid square wall off. He can fit 3 units in there. Very little chance of misaligning it. It's almost impossible to. This is going to be much more resistant to those Zergling run bys. I'm so happy Game 7 isn't going to die to a Ling Flood.
Yeah. I mean, we're also seeing a Forge go down here with the Robo, so I don't think it's going to be that multiple Stargate Void Ray thing either. The Void Ray has been spotted by the Overlord. The Overlord's parked over the Stargate, so any sort of narrative of trying to sell a story is obviously not happening here. This is just Kaelus doing something that he's either cooked up or he's got a plan of he's got a different plan than what I assumed. We're seeing an Immortal first here from Kaelus, and I tell you what, normally when I see Immortal first, I think that there's going to be some sentries behind it. But usually there's more gateways with this as well.
With the Forge, I don't think there can really be a super duper fast attack. Technically, you could do a 2-base timing here, but it's not going to be a super fast one. You got to wait for +1 attack, right? So it could be like a slow Zealot, Stalker Sentry, maybe 2 or 3 Immortal timing attack off 2-base. But I think, honestly, these are, even if you go for the attack, it's so much better if you go for a Nexus first. Just because you're like, look, I got a Nexus. It just makes the Zerg want to build 80 drones. It really makes them want to, which obviously the Zerg shouldn't even be going 66 drones against what is essentially a 2-base all-in. And second Immortal is on the way. A little bit of a supply block here for Kaelus. It's going to be going
it's unfortunate. Seeing a couple pylons queued up. Back at home, Xaxziminrax, 40 drones starting to make roaches on that lair. It seems like he's always afraid of the Adept Printer. And he's just got to give it a minute before he's safe to drone again.
Well, this is one of those things where if you watch the tip-top Zerg vs. Protoss players, there's so many minor adjustments. It's just hard to do. Even lower-end GM and pro players, they struggle to make every minor adjustment. Like in this game, if they go Void Ray first, technically you should skip Spores unless you actually see an Oracle. The problem is, Oracle could sneak out after that, and unless you're really good at putting up those Ling patrol paths everywhere, you're not necessarily going to spot it. You don't want it getting in your main without a Spore Crawler, right? So Spores kind of make sense still as a safety precaution in case they follow it up. But against a player like Kaelus, who always goes just Voids, nothing else, And in this case, just one void. You actually never need spore crawlers against a player who does that. And that can allow you to get a little bit further ahead. But it's something where Zergs are so worried because these Protoss players are doing so many different things. There's so many variables.
Look at the rally point on this robo for Kaelus. He's deliberately hiding these immortals.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't even show the first one when that Ling was hitting the wall, right? That's really nice. Where's his sentries? Oh, they're in the main as well? Ooh, hiding it all.
Gonna have a soldier. Oh my god, charge and +2 attack.
So, 2 more gateways, no more probes. He's gonna hit with +2. This is the classic, was it SOS? Who ushered this into the meta back on New Repugnancy. When I think it was Solar. And I was like, well, Solar's got this. He's got like 70 supply more. And SOS killed him with like just a good round of force fields and a bunch of +2 Arc on Immortal. And I was like, what? No. That was when, we learned to appreciate the Immortal force field Arc on combo with +2.
Yeah, and we know that Xaxziminrax doesn't make Ravages from the last 6 games. Oh my god, the butthole. He's making a Nidus Worm. Both players are about to all in each other.
That's really good for Xax that he's doing an all in, because if you don't build a lot of units, you will get overwhelmed here. But yeah, Ravages are huge against this, dude. If you don't build Ravages, I honestly don't know if you can beat this army. Like, you've basically got to be really good at pulling back and dodging force fields. That's 7 sentries. Oh my god. Dude, this is going to be such a powerful attack. 4 Immortals, 7 sentries, 9 gateways. Charge is about to finish. And you know what? It's against Mass Roach. This game is about shit is about to hit the fan, Maynard. Duck and cover.
Wins this. Yeah, I mean, this is so exciting, man. We're going to Game 7. I don't know who wins Game 7. I got no idea. I do know that both players are about to clash into each other, but I don't know which army beats the other army. It's so weird. I mean, at the moment, I think Kaelus's army is better. I think it's bigger, it's better. He's got charge. +2 is not far away. I like his upgrades. I like the amount of mortals he has, but I feel like it's also reliant on Prism Micro. And also
on creep as well, right? It's like on creep, I think Zerg is fine, but off creep, I don't think he's fine at all. Same thing, if Kaelus is outside his base, the Roaches could do a lot of eco damage. And this is a slow push from Kaelus, but look at this. Pushes out as the Overlord comes in towards the main. Where's that Nidus going to go? Is it going to go in the back of the natural?
I think natural, maybe. Yeah, I think back of the natural.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, buddy, get her done.
I'm on Kaelus's camera. Kaelus has no idea. He's not noticed. His third's under attack. That might bring his attention to his minimap. Does he look at it?
One of his immortals is stuck at home because of the adept.
He has no idea. There's about to be a base trade, Maynard. It's about to be a base trade. Dude.
Yes, there is. Oh my god. All right. Well, this is gonna make or break it for both players here, as we got the Roaches coming out with the Queens and the natural for Kaelus. He's killed 1 hatchery of the Zerg with 3 more to go. And he's got that 1 immortal, but it's just 1 immortal. He recalls, but again, it's only a partial recall.
Oh, but he's got a sentry
to get into the main.
Oh, when he gets him up on the ramp, that means he can easy defend his main. I don't know if can he go down? Zealot warp in. Kaelus with the big Zealot warp in. That's a powerful army of +2 immortals. Oh, dude, you're seeing the trouble Roaches have against this immortal count. Xax is going to click on the Nexus, and then is he going to try to get home? He's getting savaged on both fronts.
Yeah, Xaxziminrax has got a lot more Protoss to deal with on his side of the map. This partial recall ended up kind of working for Kaelus as well, in the sense that he can continue to march through the infrastructure of the Zerg and take it down one piece after another. He's still got that Nexus at the 3rd base mining for him. The Nidus has been evacuated here to go back home to deal with the Protoss' advance, but the force field on the ramp, these drones, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. They turn and fight. Kaelus can just use force fields here and kite.
Gonna pull back from that ramp and make Ravages, Xax. Mr. No Ravages Xax getting punished by these force fields. This army is like out in the middle of nowhere, but if he kills that hatch, he knocks his opponent back to 1 base. Oh my god.
This is why, what do I do? I just wish I had a unit that broke force fields. God, force fields are so strong.
Man. That is rough. A couple Roaches slide through, but back to 1 base. I think Kaelus should probably just recall, get home. Uh-oh, he's getting surrounded right now.
Oh, man, Xaxziminrax coming in with so many Roaches. Ooh. The Immortals coming in from the left side. The Void Ring gets plucked by the Queens, though. Oh, some of these Roaches are so damaged, though, man. They're like 1 shot from these Immortals. Dude. Immortals got +2. They got +2, man. These Immortals don't give a fuck.
Oh, 60 damage a shot on those Immortals. Holy crap.
Oh my god. That was a really fun series, man. But GG and congrats to Kaelus getting the 4-3 victory there over Xaxziminrax. I hope these guys continue to play and continue to pump out series, because these are like the Xaxziminrax and Kaelus have got a very cool thing that I find like is not too hard to get in StarCraft if you look for it, but once you get it, you should never let it go. And that is a practice partner that is, someone that you enjoy playing games against for the most part, someone that's a friend, and someone that's like your level. It makes you improve so much faster. And I feel like Xaxziminrax and Kaelus are like better every replay I see.
Oh,
I just get better and better.
It's such a dream to have that environment. And I mean, a couple of kill counts at the end of that game. 14 kills, 24 kills, 12 kills. That's right. A lot of kills across those three immortals. So that goes up to what, 38 plus 12, 50 kills between the three immortals. There's a 10 kill stalker who saw some shit as well. Like, holy crap. How does a stalker get 10 kills, man? That was incredible. Really well played by both players. Thank you very much, guys, for getting us to cast this one. And good luck. Have fun in your future games.
Yep. Take care.
Good night, guys.